thanks for coming and sitting in on this. Unfortunately, with all the turmoil in Washington, they're running out of people there for offices, and so they called up and got my speechwriter to go up there. So I had to throw this together myself, so bear with me. This will be mainly on the Conservation Congress, and I'll have a good spiel in there about the Monday morning or Monday evening hearing, spring hearing coming up in the second Monday in April. So, first of all, the creed of the Conservation Congress states, let us work together to properly manage and wisely use our natural resources, our land, air, water, forest, and wildlife, so that we may live in harmony with the earth and its creatures now and forever. That's what we try and live by. As to what the Conservation Congress is, it was created in 1934 by the Wisconsin Conservation Commission, which is the predecessor to the Natural Resources Board at that time. Now, 1934 is probably before all our times, other than maybe Joe, if he was here, or George.
No, it was before my time.
Okay. The purpose is to provide an avenue for input and exchange concerning conservation issues. Everybody's got a say in there. Prior to 1937, all fees, seasons, bag limits, and regulations were established by the state legislature. So nobody had a say in it at that time. Kind of what they're trying to do now, if you've been keeping track. The state legislators are trying to push stuff through to theirs. To no backtags, the land uses, the registration, no registration needed, no tag needed on the deer until certain times.
No age?
And no age. And most of these, other than the no age, are brought up because somebody, one of the legislatures, either had a buddy, in fact, one of them made a comment, he says, he doesn't hold, they asked him if he holds open house meetings or like our Congress meetings. He says, no, he says, when I'm down at the bar, I talk to the guys that are there and I listen to what they say. How good is that? Yeah. Another one that got, the registration thing, I believe, came out because one of our legislators got pinched for having an untagged deer. So, therefore, we got no that. They push these things through without any kind of public input. That's what we've got to keep track of. So, that makes us, as a Congress, a liaison between the DNR, the Natural Resources Board, and the sportsmen of the state of Wisconsin. So, we're looking for anything and everything as far as information all the time. Then in 1972, Governor Patrick Lucey signed legislature that legally formed the Wisconsin Conservation Congress. It made us official then. By statute 15.348, the Congress has input on all matters that come between the natural resources, come before the Natural Resources Board. So it sounds good, but it isn't working as good as it should. All books and records are kept independent of the DNR. We're really separated from them, even though we're working with them. No other state in the United States has a Conservation Congress. We are the only one. We've had a lot of states looking at it, a lot of states talking about implementing one. So far, Wisconsin is the only one that has the ability for the people to put input into the rules, regulations, laws, whatnot, concerning conservation. Congress is an independent organization of Wisconsin citizens elected in their own counties to serve the citizenry of each county. Individuals in attendance at the spring hearing in April, which is always the second Monday in April at 7 o'clock, elect their county representatives. There are 5 county representatives, 3 3-year terms and 2 2-year terms. And every year there's an election for 1 3-year term and 1 2-year term. This prevents it from being a complete turnover, which the antis would like, or special interest groups would like, because then they could come in, vote by for their own people in there and take over. So by staggering it like this, we're keeping it a level playing field and a right proper way of doing it so that nobody can take over by a special interest group. And believe me, some of these meetings I've been to, these special interest groups will bring in 30, 40 people and try and flood the whole thing with their own opinions. So they're out there, and they're a lot more active sometimes than the regular people are at some of these meetings. So The spring hearings are held in each county at the same night at 7 o'clock p.m. Anywhere from 5 to 10,000 people across the state, let's say, are in attendance, which makes it the largest state meeting of any kind. Nothing else comes close to that. So it's a good thing. Unfortunately, you wouldn't think the number would be that high because when you go to a local meeting, unless you go to Milwaukee or something, or unless there's a dove controversy or a stray cat controversy or sandhill crane controversy, you're lucky if you get 104 people or 70 people in some places. And we've heard of places, I think it was up, was it around Andigo or somewhere a couple of years ago, and 17 people show up, you know. It's kind of a pity, so, which leads me to my next point, which is even that 10,000 people, that's still very short compared to other numbers when you compare. You talk about 600,000 people that come and hunt deer for 9 days. The untold number of fishermen on opening day, you look at these lakes and the boats are side by side on some of them. Plus hikers, bird watchers, all of these people. So I say everybody should circle that day, the second Monday in April, and take time to come to these meetings because we need your input. I've talked to a lot of people. I hear a lot of excuses. And one of the biggest excuses was, oh, I'm not going to that because, crap, I'm going to tie up my night till midnight. Used to be that way. When I first came into the Congress, I was down in Walworth County at that time. And yes, the meetings would last till midnight. They would go over every explanation on a question, read the question, and everybody would talk about it, and especially special interest groups. They figured if they could tie it up, by the time their question came up, half the people would get tired and leave. So we have expedited the process of having this meeting. I know especially the ones that I've been running here. When there's a whole list of questions that are county specific, we will ask if anybody is interested in there. If you fish in Jackson Lake or wherever, and you want to answer that question, we'll read the question. If you fish or you hunt in Vilas County, and there's a question on that, we'll read that question, or that explanation, or the question too, and bring it up for discussion. Otherwise, we'll just read the question. Any comments? If not, we move on. Yes, Mike?
Well, they used to count them, raise your hand and count individually. Now you put it on a sheet.
You put it on a sheet.
That was a lot faster.
I was just getting to that. Because, and that was another thing they said that really held it up. Now, say you got something going on at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, or you're taking the wife out to dinner or something, you can come in there at 6:30, you can fill out your ballot, and you can leave. I don't like that, because a lot of times, if you read the question, you might have your opinion over here, and you check your question and leave. When that question comes up, there might be a lot of information coming out from the public, and you might say, hey, that sounds better than what I was thinking. You know, you could change your opinion on it. So I would really like as many people as could come to the meeting and stay. And most of our meetings, I think the last quite a few years, we've been out of there between 9 and 9:30. So that's not too bad. So, and then another thing that they're talking, ballots, you know, when we have the ballot in front, most of the people already read their questions. So when I read your question, I'll say any questions or opinions. There are none. I'll say mark your ballot. And I'll give a count of about 3, so then we mark the ballot and we're on to the next one. So we keep it moving pretty good, especially here in Marathon County. The other thing they're kicking around, they've kicked it around for the last couple of years for these people who say they got to work and can't come, or they got something else going on that night or whatever. They're looking at online voting, and so far they have not come up with a proper way that would work out, you know, legal wise, or how do they police it or whatnot. So far that's pushed off on the back burner, but it's being talked about. It's in the talk, so I have to bring it up.
If that ever happens, special interest groups will take over very shortly.
Right, they'll take over that way. And the hardest part is, what are they going to police it by? Are you going to have a DNR number? And of course, they can all get a DNR number very easy. Most of them probably have it already. So yeah, that's and they're looking at it. Yeah, they're looking at that, and they're saying that would 5 delegates up there and the DNR up there, and 5 people in the. So they don't want that. They're trying to keep it come to the meetings.
Too hard to police.
Yes, absolutely.
Stuff in the ballot box.
And that's the first thing that comes up at all the meetings that I've been in with the Congress where they talk about that. So, as any organization, the Congress is organized and governed by its established code of procedures, by its bylaws, under Robert's Rules of Order, as any open meeting has to be. And the code of procedure states that the policies and procedures are intended to guide the operation and organization of the Congress. It is published for the guidance of individual delegates to allow the orderly transaction of business and to ensure that all citizens of Wisconsin have an opportunity to be heard. So that kind of sums it up there. The Congress consists of 4 meetings if you're ever interested in being on it. There's 4 meetings in a year that a person, individual delegates are required to attend. The first one is usually in March, which we had, I think it was the second Tuesday in March, we had it up in Tomahawk for our district. And that's just to kind of get ready for the spring hearing coming up in April so that we kind of know what's coming up, know what's going on, know what we have to look out for and be ready for. The second one is the spring hearing itself. And as I said before, it's the second Monday of April, starts at 7 o'clock. And if you haven't seen it, there's a book that comes out, and they'll have it at the meetings, or you can get them at the libraries or the DNR station right now. It has all the questions in it, it has all the procedures in it, and it lays out exactly how it's going to be. Registration will start at 6:30. The doors will open up at 6:30. And as I said before, it's an open meeting. It's been posted in public places and in the media. So at 7 o'clock, we have to start the meeting. We can look out there and see there's people there and say, geez, you'd like to wait. I know we've done it here already. But your open meeting, legal meeting like that, you cannot delay it anywhere. It says 7 o'clock, you have to start it at 7 o'clock. So I would say get there close to 6:30 or shortly after 6:30 so that you can register. Because part of the registration is you have to show that you're in the county. Because only people in the county can vote for the delegates that are up for re-election. Anybody else that's at the meeting can vote for, answer the questions and vote and check them. But to vote for a delegate, you have to be a county member, or a county resident, I should say.
Marcell, can you tell us who is on the county right now? Because I do believe the Rib Mountain Bowmen is very well represented on the board.
Yes, there's myself, Tom Bartz, Tom Krieger, who are all board members, Mike Lane from Mozambique, and who the hell is the other one?
What's his
name?
So we have 4 members from Rib Mountain Bowmen that are on that committee.
No, 3.
Three out of 5.
Yeah.
It's a very nice number.
Yep. And, geez, it pains me that I skipped over to
Didn't write it down.
I didn't write it down. I got it in the book here. Since you asked that question, here.
Marcell, you might mention that before the district, the district meeting, before the Conservation Congress meeting, there are departments like the game manager, fish manager, that help explain.
Right, and that's at all our meetings. You're always represented by DNR personnel, fish managers, wildlife managers, biologists. They always come to the district meetings, they come to the spring hearing, they come to the convention, and then the following district meeting. And every one of our special committees, there are about 22 or 24 committees that cover everything from bears, deer, upland game, turkey hunting, air, water, whatever. They're always represented by the DNR also. But the other person, Rick Caney from Wasa here is the other person that's up. And as I said before, there's always 2 people that are going to be re-elected or voted for, I shouldn't say re-elected, because up for re-election. And this year, it's myself and Tom Bartz. So I'm the 3-year one, Tom is the 2-year one.
So are you willing to serve again?
Yeah,
Have you heard if Mr. Bartz is willing to serve again?
I believe he is, because I'm not sure if he can be there this year. And he did ask, if, even though he wasn't there, if he could be renominated. And according to the Robert's Rules of Orders, yes, he can, as long as we have a statement from him that says he's willing to take it. We can't just say, well, he's not here, let's vote him in. That's railroad. It's bad enough this way. And Mike Russ will attest to that because he's usually the one that says, let's close the nominations because there aren't any. So, but, yeah, so both of us are. So, and as soon as we start the meeting at 7 o'clock, the first thing on the agenda is the delegate elections. So that's the very first thing.